Today we're going to be starting to work on the responsiveness of the screens. Last time we finished the wireframes for all the pages and all the sections that we are going to be implementing. Today we're going to be starting the responsiveness. You can see we're going to be starting from the loading page here, and we're going to be working our way across. So I basically want to do one for desktop and another one for the iPhone 16. Like assuming that it is the most common form of device that people are going to use on mobile. So we're just going to say loading and mobile. Now it is a choice that you can make to also include the other pages, like the other sections. The other devices like the tablets, even TV screens, laptops, bigger wide ultra wide screens and stuff like that, but I think here if we could just have a mobile navigation a mobile device ready, this would be completely fine. Okay, let's get this down here, and we're working on the wireframe. So what we're going to be doing here basically is to create a structure. What kind of structure are we going to create? First of all, we need some grids here, columns and 12 column grids. I'm gonna drag out my rulers here to align it with the end columns here. Okay, so now we can just remove these grids. Now the way we want to do this is we want some elements that has high priority to be always shown, while other elements that don't have as much priority, maybe we could take them out of the design. For example, this logo of sorts, is it a high priority or not? That's what I have to think of. I want to have most of the elements here. Like, I don't want to decrease any value, but I'm assuming that when people come to the website, they're probably going to be viewing it on a desktop, because they're probably looking for a developer, and they're probably in a working environment sitting on their desk using a computer. So I don't want to decrease too much value from it, but there will be some compromises. So let's just start right away and try to work this out. I want to align it here, and from the top I want to go around 24 pixels. Something like that would be enough, or maybe even 16, I think, since we don't have as much space. Then let's get this in, and I want to have it stacked top down here actually, and let's go around 24 pixel gap. Great, so now I want this to be filling the container. Also, this is a bit too big, so we would have to decrease it. I remember that I have a system here, but the fonts really aren't there, since these are just for wireframes, and like these font sizes and stuff, they're just like placeholders most of the time. The reason for that being, like, I'm not sure what exactly will be the font size until I actually design it, but I know that this is roughly the amount of size in screen real estate I want to be taking. So let's just take this. I want to decrease this 42 to around 32 here, 48 to 32. So yeah, so it was system large. I'm gonna make it into system medium large here, and that's fine. That's very good. Now I want to take this, let's just duplicate it again here, bring it, actually in this case now we don't really need these. These are just my services, just a snapshot of what the website will actually be telling the user. So this is just a loading screen, so we don't really need it. So I'm just gonna decrease this to from around 96, I think. you can place it bottom down here. And since we already have 16 pixels from the top here, I'm gonna go 16 pixels from the bottom. And yeah, this is basically the mobile loading screen. Very simple, as you can see. So until we get into sort of a rhythm and like a clear visual guide of how we're going to be handling responsiveness, it will take a couple of minutes, but once we get in that sort of understanding of the design, it will take much less time. Okay, yeah, okay. Is this bit okay? 40. I knew there was a bit of misalignment here. This should be 32. Okay, something like this looks better. Okay, we're just tweaking it around here a bit, and let's move on to the hero section. Right, so I'm just going to be duplicating this, and I want to align it the hero section right here. Okay, so now we can delete most of the elements right here. And first, let me take the navbar. Let's copy and paste it here. And I know there is... Okay, actually we have to get our guidelines here to have the top and bottom rulers. And we might have to just duplicate this one more time actually. I'm gonna hold down Alt and align it here, release. Then we have our guided page here. Now we can just take the navbar from there and place it here. Okay. I want to just start everything from dragging it in. So when I do that, like how much of an effect does it have on the actual layout? I'm seeing that some part of it, the active indicator, is being cut out. Yeah. So I'm thinking to make a design change here in terms of changing this to be horizontal. I don't really like it. Looking at it, I'm really not liking it. So I'm just going to be changing it here. Control Shift R here. We can take these two, central line them, move this here. Okay, so now we can just copy this and replace this one. Control Shift R to paste and replace. And now do we need a mobile menu? I'm not sure. For now, let's just go something like this and see how this works. Is it taking too much of the space? Yeah, it is completely. So I'm gonna be applying a mobile menu instead. Okay, so I'm just gonna be having a menu. You can see I'm not really in the habit of using much icons in the overall design, and that's very intentional. I want it to be typography based. That's like the Swiss design ideology, to have very strong and dominant typography more than icons. Also, I'm really into like text, and that's one part of my service, so I really want to focus on that a bit. So I'm gonna have this menu here, something like this. Obviously, we will have to change it up a bit in the final design. So yeah, I'm gonna change this medium large to just okay, we already have just a medium large. Okay, I might have messed up the names here. We already have a system medium large, so we have to change this one. So medium large, medium extra large. I think that's better. Okay, now we can just go back here, and I want to decrease it to be 1616, and yeah, this will stay the same. So 14 would be small here, system body, and that's the menu. But I think I would keep it like this just because it's menu and it's a bit more interactable. So I don't want to make it as small. Yeah, okay. So now we want to make some changes here. Actually, we want to take this up. Okay, up here instead, so that it doesn't collide with the content. Yeah, so we want there to be equal space between this 74, 124, not equal space, but I want it to be proportional at least. So I'm gonna go reduce this to 72. Yeah, that's better. Or is it there too much space here? Okay, let's try to balance it out. I know like this should have been more into responsiveness, but we might have to play around with some elements. Just make some fix. This is the nice thing about wireframe designs. It's very fluid and you can adjust elements fast, so you don't have to be stuck on anything. Okay, so now we take this part here and we have to convert it into a mobile responsive section, and we wanna just, okay, let's go here. Let's bring it in first, as we always do. Okay. Now, okay, I wanna make some changes here. First of all, stack it, and this should be filling the container. Yeah, okay, that's nice. This should be filling the container as well, and the extra large is 96. Let's go 48. Okay, that's very nice. This is 14. Let's go 12. Let's decrease this to 24, and let's decrease this to 48. Just some changes here and there. Again, I have a clear system in mind here for the actual font conversion. But this is, as I said, just the wireframe and not the font sizes we're going to be using in the final products. So it's fine. It's completely fine for now. We're just making some minor tweaks. Okay. Okay, nice. Now we could finish off with this section here. Now this is a carousel. It's a moving object, obviously, so we would have to include a better way of displaying it. Okay, what I'm thinking is we can first position it correctly, right? So just have it somewhere like this, and I wanna just take everything and remove it. Okay, let's just remove it. So we're gonna be having one image at a time, and like one image will be able to fill it out. Actually, thinking of it, we can go with 2 images. We can, if we just decrease the size here, like what's 8 gap size will be 16. Let's also change up this button here into 14 here. Also, we want this to be something like overflowing, so we can do something like this here. Yeah, okay, that's nice. So this is like roughly the proportion we're going for. This is the main content right here with around 64 pixel gap. It should be proportional, obviously 64. So we're going to be changing this to 48. Center, okay. And let's actually just cut this part out. Okay. Okay. I want to take these two, maybe make them fixed widths. Now if we just take everything and pull it inside. Yep. Okay, almost done. It was 72. I'm thinking 48. Okay. Now if we remove 48, let's get it down a bit. 57. Actually, yeah. Okay, proportional. Nice. Okay, so we can just take everything out here. This is not loading, it is rather hero, I think. Hero. Yeah. Landing, actually. Landing page hero section. Landing hero. But it's gonna be for mobile. We're gonna move it down below here. Okay, great. So this is the landing page. Should we continue on with this section? Do we have time, or is it enough for this video? I want to do one extra page. This doesn't seem too complex, so let's try to do that. If we just duplicate it and move it right here. Okay, 32 pixels obviously. Okay, so we can just delete everything here except the menu, and I'm going to be moving the menu to the bottom right. Okay, great. So now we have the menu, and considering the menus alone here, it doesn't seem to have that bit of standing out feature, so I'm just going to make it bigger. Also, considering that I want it to be consistent here, I'm going to give it 18. Just some proportionality. Okay, so how are we going to be dealing with this? Obviously, there won't be any hovering effect, any scrolling. That's something you have to deal with here as well, which I forgot. So this should have been something that pops out on hover, but it's not. So what I'm gonna do instead is, okay, so bottom left here, 16. Yeah, I'm just gonna position this at the bottom left of every image, and I'm gonna be using an icon instead of, yeah, let's just give it an indicator of an icon instead of like the full text, like an arrow maybe. We'll see, since we can't really hover over it. Okay, so now considering this, we might have to do it the same way we did, but we might need to make it a bit more of a structured layout. So yeah, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna duplicate it, bring it here, I'm gonna give it auto layout and structure it top down. Yeah, top down here. Then I'm gonna move it here, drag it in. Okay, place it here. Almost just 16 pixel gap, or 24 to be consistent. Okay, almost done here. We can, let's just drag it out. Okay, obviously on scroll these all will appear, but for now we don't really need them. So I'm just going to keep a couple of them out in and just delete the rest. Okay, so now we can take each of these. After locking the ratio, I want to drag it in. Okay, yeah. Should be fill container for all of them. Okay, great. So now I want to return it to this original height. That's 852 for the iPhone Pro. I think it's the default iPhone, 852. And let's move it back behind the menu section. Now we're going to be doing the same thing here that we discussed about previously. I'm going to take this and I'm going to give it white color. This is basically how we're going to be setting it up in the actual code. The parts where there is a darker background would be white, and the parts where there is a lighter background will be black. So yeah, it's very easy to code. Actually, it's not really that difficult. But this will be like the what page was this? The portfolio section here for the landing page. It's very simple, but we're going to be seeing more of its power of this section, not even in the design actually. We're going to be seeing more of its power in the actual development when it's ready. So let's move it down here. Good progress. We have a clear sort of visual understanding of how the mobile design would be going, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, a couple of pages remain obviously, but most of these pages are nothing really difficult. For example, all of them actually. Especially these pages, don't have much in them. Yeah, so we're going to be continuing with the nav. Sorry, I keep saying nav. We're going to be continuing with the mobile design here in the couple of videos coming out. Then we're going to be moving on into the actual design part, base design part. Then we're going to be moving on to accent, and the design section will be done. I think that's quite enough for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.